So let's start with the basics of the thumb slap. Now there's a few things that we need to look at before we get started. The first big tip that I have for you is to make sure that you have new strings fitted. You want fresh, bright, round wound strings. You can slap with dead strings and you can slap with flat wounds, and if you're Les Claypool, you can even slap on a fretless. But when you're first starting out, it can seem a little demoralizing when the slap sound just isn't happening for you. Once you can do all the ghost notes and the pops, and after you've gained good note control, it won't matter as much. But when you're playing very simple single notes, it can all sound a bit dead, and you can start blaming the poor sound on your bad technique, and it just never seems to improve. New strings give you that lovely chime as they bounce off the frets, so you hardly have to hit them to get that sound. So if you're having a lot of problems with getting that stereotypical slap tone, get some new strings. In terms of the actual strings that you should be using, pretty much any brand will do really. I've gone through lots and lots of different brands. In terms of the gauge, you really want to be going for medium or light gauge. Light gauge is very popular with slap players because you get a lot of snap to it and it's a lot easier on your fingers. So at a push, I'd say, for beginning slappers, I'd say get some light gauge strings. You might have to do a little bit of tweaking with the truss rod if you're going to do that. If you don't want to get into any of that stuff, just get the same old strings that you always get, but just make sure that they're new. Next, we need to prepare our hand position. Now, it might seem a little odd, but we're going to start with the fretting hand, the left hand. One of the biggest issues that you'll face with slapping is control of tone and noise, and a lot of that comes from the fretting hand. We're going to be working towards slapping an open E string like this. But first of all, I just want you to take that first finger, the index finger of the fretting hand, and then just lay it lightly and relaxed across the A, D and G strings, okay? So I'm putting this down across maybe around the 5th fret there, but you can put it anywhere. It'll all depend on context and what we're actually playing. So you just lay that first finger across there. So like I say, I'm just pretty much in the 5th fret area, but I don't want you to press it down. Just nice and relaxed across there, so that if we were to hit the string, or pluck it, we're just getting those ghost notes or sort of semi-harmonics there. So we're just getting deadened notes, okay? And what that's doing is keeping everything locked down. We're not going to get any noise from there. So if we have any accidents, nothing, we're not going to be getting any of this kind of thing. So that's locked down there. So like I say, very lightly relaxed across those strings. And then the next thing I want you to do is bring the remaining fingers, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th, just bring those down, okay? So they're going to be relaxed and laid lightly across the strings as well. So the 2nd and 3rd fingers want to be pretty much up across the E string, okay? So we've got the hand laid lightly across all the strings there. So as you can see, the 2nd finger is almost coming over the top of the E string there. It's kind of sticking out a little bit past the edge of the fretboard. The 3rd finger, the ring finger there, that's pretty much the same kind of area, just over the E string. And then the 4th finger's pretty much back here, reaching up to about the A string. So that is the position that we're looking for. And that's what I've kind of christened the home position. When you're in that position, you won't get any noise, hums or anything ringing out. Everything's nice and dead, so that's a safe position. We're not going to get any noise like that, okay? So the first finger, the index finger, that's across the A, D and G strings, and the other fingers have come down, laid in exactly the same way, nice and lightly across the remaining strings. If you have any problems getting your hand into the right position there, just have a look at your hand rotation and have a look at how I'm holding the bass. I've got the neck pointing up slightly there, so it's not like this. I've got it further up here. And ordinarily, you would, maybe have your hand as if you're gripping a ball, maybe that kind of position like this with the thumb across. When I'm in this position, I tend to have the thumb a little bit more pointing down the neck. Not completely down, not facing the headstock completely, more of an angle. So it's coming in there. I'm not across, I'm a little bit more like this. That way I can rotate the hand round a little and bring these fingers more into play. So the elbow is coming further into the body there. So instead of out like here like this, I've got the elbow tucked in. So the elbow's tucked in, and then I've got the second finger coming up here, and the fourth finger, I've been able to bring it round almost to the E string, and it wants to be pretty much parallel with the frets. Okay, so you can see the frets there, the fourth finger's kind of lined up with it. So when I bring the fingers down, I've got the first finger there, use that as a kind of guide, laid lightly there, and then bring the hand round enough so that these fingers come all the way up over the E string, and that fourth finger is pretty much parallel, okay? So once you have your hand in that position, just try plucking each of the strings just to make sure that they're all dead notes, you know, that you're getting ghost notes in there. And as I mentioned before, this is what I call our home position, and it's going to feature quite a lot in future lessons. This is a great position to use as a preparation before you play, no matter what technique you're using. If I'm on stage between tunes, if I don't drop my volume for some reason, I'll at least have my hand in that position. You don't want any accidents while you're on stage at full volume. You could accidentally knock the bass, move the hand on the strings, and this stops any big clangs like that. So try to get used to using that home position as your kind of default go-to hand position. Now let's have a look at the actual slap technique itself with the right hand. So you can see my arms coming in at a little bit of an angle here, and I'm bent at the elbow, and the arm is meeting the bass round about this heel here, just above the bridge there. And you want to get the hand pretty much around the end of the fingerboard area. So I've got the hand nice and relaxed just above there. Make sure that the bass neck is raised a little bit there. And we've got the hand in a bit of a loose fist. So you can see there, not a tight fist like this. We've just got a loose fist, thumb extended. And we're going to look to strike the string at the end of the fingerboard here with around about this knuckle on the thumb, okay? So that's the preparation. So get into home position. So, the first finger just roughly around the 5th fret somewhere. Get the other fingers down. So we're in the home position. And hands just above there. And what we want to do when we go to slap the string is raise these 3 fingers up, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th finger. But keep the first finger, the index finger, in position there. So that's going to be muting the rest of the strings. So we lift those fingers, and then we just bounce the thumb on the string. And we don't want to push down like this. We don't want to push against the string. We bounce it against the string and back. Okay, so we've got that kind of action. And I've seen this mentioned, the action of the hand, as being almost like a doorknob rotation. If you can think of that kind of movement in the forearm and the wrist, and then just, put the hand into a loose fist with the thumb extended, that's the kind of movement that we've got, okay? So think about more of a whipping action. So we're starting with the thumb, above the strings there, slap, and the thumb wants to immediately return, okay? And you should get that nice chime there, okay? So that's the first step. Now, another big tip I've got for you, if you're having any problems with the accuracy of hitting with the thumb, is to actually watch the thumb. Now, I know that sounds really obvious, but I see this all the time in students. They'll start trying to play slapping. They'll say to me, I really want to learn how to slap. And they'll try doing an exercise like this, and they'll keep missing the string or hitting badly. And the one thing that I always seem to notice is that they're watching that hand. They're watching the fretting hand. And this is because we're always calibrated to actually watching that hand, because we're keeping track of the notes that we're playing. So it's just a natural instinct to keep watching that hand. Now, this is why we're just going to try hitting that open string. So that way we don't have to worry about anything to do with this hand. We've got the finger there, laid there, nice and relaxed. These fingers have been raised. You don't have to watch anything with that hand. Don't worry, there's not going to be any problems there. So then just watch this thumb. Pick a spot at the end of the fingerboard, just really like a sharpshooter. You're just picking a spot there, and then just watch it all the way through, Focus and concentrate on that movement. So like I say, we're starting above, hovered above, slap, and let the thumb come back. So it's very much a slap down and return. And watch that hand. Nothing going on there, don't need to watch that hand. Okay? Now, on first hearing, that might not seem particularly exciting. The slap can just end up sounding like, you know, a more forceful finger pluck. And if you have dead strings, it'll definitely sound like that. But don't worry. Over the next few lessons, we'll be working on note duration and some other areas of the technique that will help to bring out that funky percussive sound. For now, we just want a nice, clean and long chime. Like that, okay? That's all we're looking for. We don't want any kind of rattles and cut-offs or anything like that. Just a nice, clean, long-held note. So just concentrate on doing a few of those until you can get it. Now, I have to say that this will probably be the most frustrating period of learning the whole technique. Once you have this action down, things will seem much, much easier. But to begin with, it's going to seem a little strange and maybe a little tough to get. Just be patient, persevere, and don't hit too hard. So now let's try playing that open E string over a simple drum track, okay? So here's the drum beat. So that's a simple beat in 4/4. And what I want you to do is tap the foot along with it and count along, okay? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're looking to do here is build up some rhythmic independence and also some rhythmic accuracy, and actually just focus on rhythm right from the start, because that's going to make a big difference when it comes to actually developing this slap technique, okay? So, first of all, we're going to just hold that open E string for 4 beats, okay? So, that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to begin in home position, then when you go to slap the string, you just raise those fingers and then hold for 4 beats. And remember, keep looking at the thumb, okay? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now let's just try holding the note for 2 beats. Okay? So we're going to have two notes per bar. So we're going to be hitting on 1 and 3. Okay? So begin in home position and then just raise the fingers when we go to play. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you should feel that the thumb is coming down on the foot. Okay, so you're very, very synchronized with all of this. Okay, so next, let's just try a bar holding for 4 and then a bar holding for 2 each. Okay, so that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So remember to always use the home position as a preparation. So you get your hand in the position before you play the slap. And then when you do, it should be a bit of a seesaw motion between the 2 hands, because as you slap, you bring those fingers up. So it's a simultaneous action. Okay, so this thumb comes down, these fingers come up like this, okay? Okay? So that was the E string, so now let's have a go at slapping the A string. So first of all, let's get into home position again. But this time, because we're going to be slapping the A string, we obviously have to move that index finger. So this time, we're only going to be laying against the D and the G string. So there we are, we've got the ghost notes there. So bring the other fingers down, and then when we go to slap the A string, pick a spot, have a look there, end of the fingerboard, watch the hand, because we're going to need more accuracy for this. And there we have it. So like I said, there's going to be you need to be more accurate because you've got strings on either side. When we play the E string, there's nothing on this side, so we're not going in between anything. So this time we're between the strings. So we've got that motion. Now we do have a slight problem here when we do play it, and that is in the shape of the E string. Now the E string, when we play, we're often likely to get low rumble and noise from it when we, as residual kind of noise just from the vibrations of the string there. So that can be a problem. Also, you're kind of likely when you start playing with slapping to accidentally catch it, and then you can get, you know, all kinds of noises coming out. So we need a way of locking that down. So we've got two choices. One of them is to actually curl the fingers over, the second and third finger there, to actually lightly touch the E string. Okay, so that's one way. So when we're playing it, those two fingers are taking care of the E string. Or, which is probably a more popular way, is to bring the thumb round. So we can bring this thumb round here and then lightly touch the E string, so we don't get any noise from it. So we've got the first finger there taking the D and G string, and we've got the thumb taking the the E string. So then when we go to slap, we're not going to get any noise from either of them. Okay? So now let's try playing with that drum track again. So we're going to start in home position. So we're going to have the thumb and the first finger there holding down those other strings, and then just bring these fingers down, second, third and fourth fingers. So we've got this kind of position. Then when we go to slap the A string, we just raise the second, third and fourth fingers, okay? So that's our starting position. So here's the drum track, and we're going to use exactly the same rhythms as before. So get in position, tap the foot along, you want to keep count, and we're going to start with just 4 beats held. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, keep watching the thumb. Now let's try 2 beats. So we're hitting on 1 and 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now let's join them both together. So 4 and then 2 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's the basic thumb slap action. You want to download all the lesson material for this course. There's a workbook and there's all the backing tracks there, and then you want to practice those rhythms with that drum track until you feel like you've got that rotation of the wrist. And then we can start to look at controlling the note duration.